Hi there. This video is going to be going over some of the important aspects of shifting our breathing pattern in the postpartum period. So, in general, I see a lot of clients who have paradoxical breathing patterns, anyways, that is, breathing high into the chest with a shallow breathing pattern. However, this is definitely exacerbated following pregnancy, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, during pregnancy, baby is pushing up on the organs, creating less room for the diaphragm to move down and up. The diaphragm moving down and up is what usually is the primary actor or the primary muscle in respiration. And so what happens so that we can continue to breathe normally throughout pregnancy is I see often a lot of rib flaring action, so actually a widening of the infrasternal angle at the rib cage. A lot of high breathing patterns, so high in the chest. And what that does is it calls into action what should normally, under normal circumstances, be the accessory muscles of respiration. Those are the pectoral minor muscles, the muscles in the front of the neck called the scalenes, and even the upper traps as we start breathing high into the chest. The other sort of double whammy that we have is the changing of center of gravity when you are pregnant causes oftentimes this familiar sway back position, right? And so if you think about carrying baby here, we're sort of changing our center of gravity and tightening up the muscles along the length of the spine, the paraspinal muscles. So what happens is with all of these combined factors, we tend to see a lot of high chest breathing that is shallow and very little expansion in the rib cage and in the back body. And oftentimes that carries over into the postpartum period. Our bodies don't just revert back to our natural healthy breathing pattern. And so we need kind of a little bit of focused work to try to start to get our breathing back on track. Now, this is extra important because if you're dealing with any issues like a diastasis, a DRA, or any pelvic floor issues, correct breathing is absolutely essential to managing the pressure. We think about the core as like a container. And if you're pushing down too much pressure from above because of poor breathing patterns, that pressure has to go somewhere. And it is typically going to go forward into the abdominal wall and create bulging, or it's going to push down into the pelvic floor, especially if there is weakness there. And so it can be really, really beneficial in the early postpartum days just to begin to pay some attention to your breathing. This sets you up for a solid foundation for progressing through the rest of core exercise, getting postural respiration back on track. And it can have the added benefit of functioning as a little bit of a nervous system down regulator. We all know that with a newborn at home, there is typically going to be a heightened sympathetic nervous system. So that happens from lack of sleep, too much caffeine, new activities and responsibilities of parenting, and just kind of the changing dynamic in your family. So we're all dealing with a little bit of that heightened stress, and it can make it really a little bit harder for our bodies to accept the challenges and find recovery in the early days. And so this is really useful not just for getting your breathing back on track, but bringing your awareness back to breath, bringing your awareness back to a 360-degree breathing pattern, back into the somatic experience of your body, can help calm the mind as well, hopefully lending itself to a little bit better sleep when you're able to sleep, to feeling more calm and able to meet the day as it comes. All right, so get ready for this next exercise. You will need a block, or it can also be a towel or a couch pillow, and potentially a blanket as well.